See a sucker soon on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Capital Region today. I'm so happy you're joining us today. We have such a fabulous show today. You will not believe the guests that we have. We're going to be talking about Annie, and we have Miss Hannigan here, and you know who Miss Hannigan is. And then we're going to be talking about the Storytellers, because they're going to be talking about their event coming up. Schenectady Civic players will be talking about The Father, which is a very interesting play, and you'll learn more about that one. You won't want to miss it. And Armory Studios NY is here today again. They come on, and they're going to be talking about the soup Stroll and Bridesmaids, and even maybe Monet. And then we're going to be talking about Schenectady Shares, which is a brand new program that they've launched to get more food in for insufficiencies. And then we're going to be talking about folklore. They were on before, but this time we're going to be talking about Jewish paper cutting and metal cutting. She's a fabulous artist, and you're going to want to see what she does. But we're going to start right off with Miss Hannigan. Hi, Miss Hannigan.
Hi.
Hi. Stephanie, you're here. And how long have you been playing Miss Hannigan?
312 shows.
Well, you got your lines learned?
I think I got them. I think I got them by now. Yeah,
Good,
by
good.
now I have them.
So how are the orphans?
Oh, they're the best. They're my pride and joy. So this is my second year doing the Annie tour.
Oh, you're the second year.
Second year,
wow.
yeah. We launched the tour last year. It was our first year, brand new production, and we started with 7 glorious orphans last year, my original chickens. And this year we have a whole new batch, and they're just as delightful. It is extraordinary to share the stage with them. You'll love them.
And the children that you have, I mean, they are quite accomplished, because Annie has to have a very strong voice.
Oh, all of them do. Where do you hear them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Extraordinary. Like dancers, triple threats, and also sweethearts. And you think like life on the road is challenging. It's an exhausting kind of.
Well, I understand that a lot of times they'll have a tutor with them.
Oh, yes. So what I was going to say is, they're not only doing an 8-show week like the rest of the grown-ups in the cast, but they're also doing school during the daytimes. And without fail, they show up for every show, just delighted to be there. They really help keep perspective.
Experience.
Oh, my
Wonderful
goodness.
Experience.
Extraordinary.
Where are you from?
I'm a Jersey girl.
You're a Jersey girl.
I'm a Jersey girl.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, but I've been in Manhattan now 13 and a half years.
Yeah,
so
not too
I
far
consider
from home then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's nice to be in Schenectady, close by.
So, the Miss Hannigan, so you've done this, 321 times?
312, I think
12,
we're at
okay,
now. Yeah.
I got my number, a little dyslexic there.
It's okay, me too.
Numbers mixed up. So you've played that a number of times. Do you ever find that because you're listening to the audience too, to their reactions, does that help you in playing your part in the sense?
It's invariably the biggest game changer show to show. So when you're in a house where the audience is responsive and loud and laughing, and we can really hear that, the give and take is extraordinary. It makes for a wonderful show. Imagine generating everything from my side without getting anything mirrored back from your side. So
I know, no, because then you're alone.
You're alone, yeah, and you have to generate everything for yourself. So when the audience bounces back, or when we're in a house that's acoustically shaped so we can really hear the laughs.
How do you like Proctors?
I love it. My first time playing at the theater last night, we opened last night, and what a stunning venue. Stunning venue. The acoustics are beautiful, and what a loving audience. We had a great time last night.
We have a very appreciative audience,
yeah,
because they love Broadway coming here,
Yeah.
and Annie, of course, is going to be a great show. And I understand that they have like a kids' night where they give an extra ticket.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
so they're having a kids' night, and
Good.
they're doing some really good things to bring kids out
Yeah.
to see productions.
Especially this show.
Live theater.
This show specifically is wonderful for whole families, and it's an intergenerational experience. You've got kids seeing their first Broadway show ever, parents there with them, and grandparents there with them going, "This was my first show."
Yeah.
And that's rare and kind of extraordinary. And even within that structure, it's a show that there's so much for children, but there's so much for grown-ups too.
Yeah.
I make sure of it.
Well, it's a great story.
Yeah.
It's a great story. You got the little evil people there, and you've got the Miss Hannigan. It's like when it's like she's not nice.
No, I'm quite scary, and it's so prepare yourselves.
Little girls, what is that song?
Yes, Little Girls, iconic.
Yeah,
It's a Charles Strauss like legend song. But yeah, and I think you said evil, and I think that's an interesting.
Well, I mean, they're con people.
Well, I think she's in a terrible circumstance. You're in the middle of the Great Depression. She's stuck in a dead-end government job with children who she clearly is not interested in. No, it's horrible, and there's nowhere for anyone to go. It's a very trapped experience, and I think that circumstance breeds that kind of misery, and that misery breeds that kind of rage. Yeah. So I think it's a very human experience.
So we have, of course, Daddy Warbucks. What's he like?
Oh, Christopher! Oh my goodness! So we both have been here since the very beginning. So yes, Chris and I have been together for the whole run, and he's a true pro. He's wonderful, such a sweetheart, such a solid actor. You'll see
I can't wait to see it. I have a ticket for Thursday.
And their relationship is beautiful too. He and Annie, so they've built a beautiful rapport.
So we've talked about the kids, and now. Do you have to have a dog handler?
We sure do. We have 2 dog handlers that travel with the show, and 2 dogs.
2 dogs?
Two dogs, okay. Yep. Seamus is our Sandy, and he's our main dog, and we have
He gets top billing?
Top billing. Top billing, above the title. And Winnie's our understudy puppy, and they're both rescues.
I love that you use rescue.
Oh my gosh, yes. And she is just barely rescued. She's 3 weeks rescued, and then she came on tour with us. So it's a really beautiful way for these pups that, had a hard story and had a hard time to come and just be engulfed with this much love, because we're, of course, the company's obsessed.
Well, it seems to me that if you put a dog on a stage with bright lights, you're going to have a reaction.
Yeah, it's interesting. It requires a lot of training, so we have incredibly experienced dog trainers, and it's about getting the dogs accustomed to the experience, the lights, and more even, I think, than the lights, the sound, because the dog hearing is quite strong, and sometimes we have weird feedback things or lots of noises, the pit and microphones, But yeah, they do a beautiful job adjusting.
I can't wait to see the production and see the staging. I love staging. It's like, to me, I always bring binoculars because I really want to look at that stage, when it opens up.
Yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful show. So wait till you see our design. Incredible set design by Wilson Chin, Broadway designer. Our costumes by Alejo Vietti, another Broadway designer. It's a gorgeous spectacle. It's a lot of fun.
I get the feeling that you're excited about it.
Oh, I could take it or leave it, really.
That's good. I'd love to see a performer that loves what they're doing.
Me too.
So let's talk about Eddie. It's going to be through Sunday, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's still tickets available?
I think so, but I think they're going rather rapidly.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure they are. So, but sure you can, and be sure when you contact Proctors, go to proctors.org. Don't use the one at the top because that's a phony one, and the tickets are terribly priced, and we have people that buy them there and then come here and find out that they don't have a seat.
I take your word for that. Yeah, just watch out that you're using the correct website.
So buy them for proctors.org, or come on down here and buy your tickets, or you can buy them there. But please come to some of the Broadway shows. And right now we've got Annie, Miss Hannigan, and she's really a nice person. So.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, we won't tell anybody, Stephanie. Thanks so much for
nice
being here.
It's a
pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
I can't wait to see you on stage. And we're going to be talking about the Storytellers now.
We are.
Yes, you are. And you're also the Storytellers at Proctors.
We are the Story Circle at Proctors.
Yeah. Joe Doolittle.
About 20 years ago, we had coffee with Richard, and he suggested we become a resident company.
Oh, that was Rich Lovrich that's coming on the show next?
Richard was there, but it was Philip Morris. I'm sorry, Philip Morris. Yeah. And we said, well, what would that be? He says, well, you could do things in our theater, and you could have a website, and you could call yourself Story Circle at Proctors. And I said, well, that sounds pretty good. So that became our name, and we've been producing shows here ever since. We do a couple of big shows like a Telebration.
Yeah, the Telebration is a big one.
And then Word Plays is a series of smaller venues really designed to feature a theme that will resonate.
You have a lot of persistence then.
We have a lot of persistence coming up. That's one. And the way this works is we have probably 50 or so storytellers in our story circle. And we brainstorm online, and we come up with ideas, and then we come up with material, And then Kate Dudding, who's really my senior producer.
Yeah, you're a producer along with Kate.
She and I and a couple other people kind of jury those and put together shows and get people engaged in doing things and coming up. And that becomes our series, which there are 8 this season, this year. The last 2 are Opportunities and Possibilities, and that's on February 11th and March 25th.
Okay, we'll probably promote those as well.
Yeah, so it's just wonderful. And listening to Miss Hannigan, you know, the idea of the relationship between the audience and the teller, when you're a storyteller, you're kind of there alone and there is no set. But the stories, I believe, are generative. So I tell some personal stories. And when I tell the story about the only time I ever called my father by his first name.
Are you going to tell that now?
I could. I was going to tell another story.
Oh, that's right. He's going to tell us a story.
So, but the nature of that story is it's generative, because almost all of us have either thought about or called our parents by their first name. And I get feedback on that. And the other thing that happens if you're really generating things in a story is you'll see the person in the audience kind of leave. And that used to bother me, but it doesn't, because what it really means is they're someplace else. They've been taken someplace else because of that resonance.
Because of the story that they heard, maybe.
And I think that that's part of what we do. Part of what we do is also a number of us. I tell a lot of historical stories. I grew up in Schenectady. There was a big sign on the city line up in Stanford Heights that said, "Welcome to Schenectady, land at the end of the trail through the Whispering Pines."
Oh, Whispering Pines.
Whispering Pines. It was very poetic. And we used to walk there to the bus, my mother and I said, "What does that mean?" And she began to tell stories about the portage, the trade, the massacre, all those things. And I just integrated a lot of that history on the bus while she was going to Barney's, you know. So I like a lot of history stories. And sometimes people either don't know the history or they've forgotten it, or you get to resurrect it. Now, Friday, day after tomorrow, at 12 o'clock, the Historical Society and a number of other people, the First Reformed Church, where I go, we are re-establishing the Liberty Pole.
I saw that. I saw the flag.
It's the 250th anniversary of our committees of safety planning that Liberty Pole in support of the mission of the revolution and in defiance of the king. And Chris Leonard will be there.
Yeah, he's a historian. Yeah,
and he's a historian, and he'll be telling a story about that event and some of those people. But that's another attribute of the story, because nobody talks about the Liberty Pole.
I was not aware of it until I started seeing it on Facebook and reading about it.
And they were a key component of the defiance of the early revolution. And we were there with our pole, and Joseph Yates was pivotal of that, and he's going to be the story I tell. So that's the other attribute of it. So we teach a lot when we tell our stories. Mm-hmm. We like to think we entertain, and we like to think that we bring memories. And I think that's kind of like the theater in a way, because if you see something like Annie, you know, you come home with all these rolling memories, you know.
So you are going to tell us a story.
You want me to hear? I'm going to tell you a story, and it's the oldest story in modern times. It's been discovered at the Minoan civilization on Crete. Okay. So, and I'm going to update it to Joseph Yates, 1785.
Okay.
And Joseph Yates was the grandperson of the Yates family, and in 1770 he was a linchpin in the revolution. He was a linchpin in creating a way to get supplies to soldiers at Saratoga. He had a big country estate out in Outlaws.
And there's a Yates house
in the
stockade.
very end of the Church Street in the stockade. And as he got older, he said to his sons, he says, when the time comes for me to, I don't want to die in the house, bring me out along the river and let me be where I can hear the river and sense the land, and I'll pass peacefully.
Ooh, I love that.
So about time, they get him on his pallet, they take him out, take him down to the river right across that green lawn in the park. They lay him down, he stretches out, and just before he breathes his last, he grabs 2 handfuls of topsoil from the Mohawk Valley. And when he wakes up, he's laying right outside the pearly gates. And St. Peter says, Joseph Yates, why, we've been expecting you. So nice to see you. It'll be wonderful here in heaven with you in it. He says, oh, great, I've been looking, you never really know. He says, I know, it's a mystery, but don't have it a mystery anymore. Just come right in, and there's a big cocktail party going right down the street there. You'll have a great time with it. Wow, wow. So he said, oh, that's so fast. You got to drop whatever you got in your hands, because you can't bring anything from the old world into heaven. Oh, you don't understand. This is topsoil from the Mohawk Valley. This is what has fed and nurtured my family for generations. I'm not leaving it behind. Oh, no. Well, you can't come in. I'll just go sit down, and maybe you'll change your mind. So he sits down. And the word goes back. God gets a word. Well, we got an incident at the gate. So God comes down. He's got his flowing hair and his robes, and he comes up. He says, Joseph, you know, you got the same name as the guy that I had be the pretend father of my kid. It's a great name, you know, doggone. You know, I tell you what, we're having a great setup here. If you just want to come in, I'll walk you in myself. He says, do I have to drop this? Oh, yeah, you can't bring that in. I'll sit here, thank you very much. So God goes in there and says, this guy's got me stumped. Angel says, you know, he used to like to go hunting with this guy, Glenn. They had a place up at a waterfall up north, and maybe that would do it. Maybe we could just dress up like hunters, and maybe he'd want to go hunting, and maybe he got to do it. So he gets all dressed up as a hunter. He goes out. He says, Joseph, we're here. We're going up north. We're going to the waterfall. We're going to hunt. We're going to drink. We're going to play cards. It'll be great. Come on. He says, oh, that sounds good. I haven't been there in a long time. Oh, but you got to drop that. Oh, I'm not going to drop that. So the hunter comes back. He says, you know, this guy is persistent. So God thinks for him. He says, you know, nobody I know can ever contain a granddaughter. So one of you guys ought to become a granddaughter and go out there and lasso this guy. So he looks at a guy, and poof, he becomes a granddaughter, 4 years old. And she goes skipping out the door, and she goes skipping on along, and she goes, Pop, 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 it's me, Melissa. You got to come. We got it all set up. We have a big party all set up, and there's room at the head of the table for you. We got turkey and venison and sweet potatoes. You're just going to love it, and you're going to love being there. Well, Joe was kind of tired of sitting on his tail, and he looks at his granddaughter. He stands up, and he dusts off the dirt. And he takes her hand, and together they walk into heaven. And he stops suddenly, and he looks down at her. He says, you didn't tell me. You didn't ask. But I'm looking at my valley. I'm looking at the Mohawk Valley. There's the mountains coming this way, and there's the mountains coming this way, and I know the river goes through it. Why, if this is heaven, this is just like I would ever have wanted heaven to be. She says, that's right, Pop. Heaven is whatever we want it to be.
Oh, I love that story. That's such a sweet story. So we need to tell people, when is Persistence?
Persistence is at 2 o'clock this Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
It's $12 at the box office.
Okay.
There'll be refreshments for that too. It's right after the Green Market, so you could come and browse the Green Market.
Green Market and then go to that.
Go to Word Place. And it'll be a great time. We've got 8 wonderful tellers, strong tellers.
So they get 8 stories and refreshments and a nice afternoon.
Right. It'll be better than nice. It'll be better than nice.
Better than nice. Be persistent and go.
That's right. Be persistent and go. And, you know, and it's so wonderful to be back here with all that's going on. For you guys that are watching, there's so much energy and action goes on behind the screen here. It's a real trip.
Yeah.
You know, I saw an angel that looked just like my granddaughter right over there.
Oh, there you go. You know, you never know. Joe, it's so good to see you again. And you don't be a stranger. Come back again. We're going to take, and don't forget, don't take your mic, don't take the mic with you. You can't do that. And look over here. We're talking about theater over here. The father. Mm-hmm. You're the father, huh, Gary?
Well, I play the father, yes.
Well, you could be a father as well.
I am as well,
We
yes.
have Colleen with us and David. David is the director over there. David, do you want to take the lead on this and tell us, what is the father about?
Well, that's an interesting question because it's, in the simplest version, it's a story of a man who's beginning to lose his mind to dementia and his loving daughter. He can be a difficult man, but he actually loves his daughter a great deal, and she loves him.
You're the daughter, Colleen?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to see who the loving daughter is.
Colleen plays Anne, and Gary plays Andre.
Yeah.
The interesting quality of this show is that it isn't told in a linear format. It's 15 various scenes, and it's somewhat jumbled order, and some of the scenes are clearly you're seeing them objectively, as somebody might see the lives of these people. But there are other scenes that, by all appearances, are actually in Andre's mind.
Oh, in his mind.
How he's remembering things. So
is he remembering them accurately? We don't know as the audience then.
I think we'll have to leave that to the audience.
This is going to be a bit of a mystery then, too, as well.
It is.
So, Gary, I know that you have been acting in the past.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I seem to came into my own as I got older, you know. And so
well, especially this part.
No, I mean, I tend to play fathers and grandfathers, you know what I mean? And so, but fortunately, there's a lot of good roles out there for those
Yeah, there
people.
are. There are a lot of that. Okay, and the father... How did you research this? Because it has to do with dementia. And, I mean, did you have to research it?
I don't do a lot of research. I really feel like the play tells you what to do. The language of the play really starts to speak to you as you start to rehearse. I do have a brother-in-law who is experiencing dementia right now, who I talk to every once in a while. He's in worse stages, I think, than where Andre is, but Andre is going there, and so you know, you play the part. That's all. The lines that are given to you, the feelings that you have about different people, the things that are going on inside your mind.
So, is Andre? Does he realize in this production? Does Andre realize that he's?
I think he
it?
really.
I say losing it, but that's probably not a good way to put it.
I would say at the beginning, he wants to deny it. He's fighting it, and so he's fighting her because she's trying to get some help for him. As it goes on, he gets scared because he can see what's happening to him, and it confuses him. It's not unlike all of us getting older, you know, except you get this disease, you know, and see, but we all have the same memory issues and confusion and fear of getting old, and so.
Exactly. So, Colleen, you're trying to help your dad?
Yes. Anne is in a very, emotionally difficult situation. You know, she's, she has no kids. She's divorced. But she does have a significant other, and she really wants to take care of her father herself. And she's in her own form of denial about.
Is she capable at this point?
Well, she wants to be. She thinks she might be, but that's her dilemma, and that's the question: is can she continue to take care of him with, even with help, like aides, home, right? It's interesting. It's a translation from French. And so they're called, we say helpers, right? So it's fun to kind of just own that language. It's slightly different than how we might say it. But yeah, and it's heartbreaking for her. You know.
Now, is this? I mean, it sounds like it's a pretty heavy play, but I understand there's some lifting parts to this as well. Is that correct? I don't know who wants to answer.
Well, I think Andre is automatically funny sometimes when he doesn't intend to be, you know, and then occasionally he turns on charm, and so he makes things up that are wonderful, you know, and so those become kind of dynamic moments when he's sparkling a little bit, you know, even though he's pretending sometimes.
Like we're interviewing a carer, you know, a caregiver, and he comes out and says, "I was a tap dancer." And I'm like, "Dad, you were an engineer," you know. And then this whole tap dancing sequence. Well, it's not a. You know, I'm sure Gary can tap dance if he puts his mind to it. But this is not a musical.
It's not a musical.
But yeah, there are moments like that that are.
So that they are kind of like a little humor
chuckles
in there as well.
Yeah.
There's some definitive humorous moments, and if you've been with people who are losing their minds at times, as much as it might sound somewhat sad, at the same time there are very funny moments as somebody's mind kind of gets jumbled up.
Yeah, and they come up with stuff that it is kind of humorous at times.
Right. Yeah.
Now, David, I know that you've directed before.
Very little.
Very little.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that you did something with the new, or what is it, Be Seen?
Be Seen was a co-production.
Yeah, it was a co-production.
For about
okay.
five seasons of Be Seen,
yeah, that was
including
fun to do.
a pandemic version, which was virtual.
So how do you like, I know you act, so tell me what you prefer.
I'm not gonna answer that question, mainly because I'm not.
I guess our interview is over.
No, just don't let him talk anymore.
I'm not done with
That's
this
the
play.
lawyer.
I'd like to see how this all unfolds, right? I have done
The pressure's on.
I've directed a staged reading, and I co-directed How I Learned to Drive at Albany Civic Theater.
I know you do that too.
So, and we're in the midst of this one. The first one I did a solo production of. What people kept saying to me is, why did you choose such a hard play to do your first play? And simply because it was my first play.
Yeah. Anyone would have been probably.
How difficult I was getting myself, a play I was getting myself into. So, But I've surrounded myself with a great cast.
I was just going to ask you, because how big is the cast?
Six.
And six, okay. And of course, one of my passions is the set direction. So who did the set?
The set designer is
the designer. Did I say direction? But designer, yeah.
Yeah, set designer is Robin McDuffie. He's created a very interesting set. And our set decorator is Elise Chabot.
Oh yeah, she's amazing too.
So,
And costumes?
That's Beth Roman.
Yeah, Beth is doing the costumes too.
We got lights by Brian Starnes. We've got lights by Nikki Lights.
The sound by
Sound
Brian.
by Brian.
Lights and lights. Brian is sound.
Oh,
sorry.
Yes,
You said lights twice. It's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay because
Yeah.
you didn't. Well, you're not off book yet.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just kidding. So when is this production so that we can get people to come out and see it? And I do know that the Alzheimer's Association is supposed to be in the lobby a little bit to talk to anyone who wants to.
I think they'll be present, and people can get information from them. And,
it might raise the awareness.
I hope so. I think we all live with it. I've had 3 people I lost to Alzheimer's and 1 to brain cancer. It's a very interesting dynamic to watch somebody's mind disappear. So.
I have a friend who's his wife, and it's kind of sad because she's getting more forgetful and pretty soon they don't know who you are, and that's got to be a horrible experience for maybe not for the person experiencing Alzheimer's, but the person who's on the receiving end, because then they said, "But Mom, it's me, Mom. I'm your daughter, And
that happens in this play.
And they say, "No, you're not my daughter. I don't have a daughter." And they, "Oh no," So it's the point to raise awareness, number one, and of course there's a number of medications that they're now developing that might slow it down. They're not going to end it, but they can slow it down a little bit. So and this production is, did we say the dates? Because I have the dates.
It opens January 19th, Friday, January 19th.
And it runs through the 28th.
It runs through the 28th, correct. You can get information from the website, Schenectady Civic Players.
Get your tickets, because it's such a lovely theater.
It's a beautiful theater.
It's very, very nice. Acoustics are good.
Theater.
Everything is really great. So please get your tickets to The Father, and I know there's a lot of other productions coming up after that. And if next season, get your season tickets because there's such a great deal. Yeah. Gary, so nice to see you.
Nice
I think
to
you've
see
been
you
on
again.
before. Yeah.
I think way
Way
back
back
when I
when,
did Proof back in
Proof, that was it,
2010.
Proof.
Yeah.
Were you the priest?
I played the father in that. I played Robert, who was also going a little mad at the end. So
Yeah. That was
people
such
must
a
see me
great
that
play.
way, you know.
Great.
It was a fun
Okay.
production to
Well,
do.
we don't want to typecast you.
Yeah.
And Colleen, I think you've been on the show too.
Yeah, actually, David and I were on the show for Wait Until Dark at
Oh,
Schenectady
that
Civic.
was wonderful. that one,
2017,
yeah.
I think that was.
I love that play and the movie, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's so
It was-
great. So you bring, Schenectady Civic Players tries to bring you a nice broad type of different kinds of plays, but it's dependent on who we get the directors to come and pick those plays. So we do want you to come to see the Schenectady Civic Players, and it's called The Father, and it's from the 19th through the 28th. Get your tickets. You can buy your tickets at the door. You can buy your tickets online, however you prefer to do it, but please, there's not a bad seat in the house. And they even have the little enhanced if you can't hear too well. You can hear the whole
And
thing.
they also have an elevator that can bring people.
Yes,
who
the elevator
have
up and
mobility
down.
issues up to the
Yeah,
theater
and
floor.
cookies between scenes. Not scenes, between the acts. Not the scenes.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Where's my cookie?
Cookies. They went over really big because we stopped it during the pandemic, and now we started it up again. So it's great.
That's great.
Thank you all for being here
Nice
and
to see
Break
you,
Lake.
Ann.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
very
Great
much.
to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Good. We're going to switch over here and talk to the Armory Studio. Look who's here, Ray. Maggio. We got Kim Rainey, and we've got Richard Lovrich back there. Richard, you were talking. Your ears burning when Joe Doolittle was talking to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember those early days.
Yes,
Really a wonderful group.
Yeah, I know. It was so much fun we had way back
Yeah.
when. But right now we're talking about the Armory Studios New York, and they have the name of Armory Studios New York because you do. Ray, you're the co-owner. Tell us what the studios do.
We do film productions.
Okay.
As of late, we've hosted Modern Love series on Amazon Prime, HBO Pretty Little Liars,
Right.
and a lot of independent films. During the pandemic, we had a lot of shoots in there because they weren't with the group that was
Oh yeah.
on strike.
Sunscreen
Yeah.
and
So a
whatever.
lot of
Yeah,
activity.
I know
but-
what you mean.
Yeah.
So right now you have the Monet, but I mean you're not here to talk about that. But we do. Let's mention we do have the Monet there. Also, soup. No, you're not doing soup, are you?
We're doing soup.
We're doing soup.
Kim.
I'm doing soup.
What are you doing, Kim? You're the chef.
I am, yeah, somehow I
Well,
started.
these guys are like that.
Yeah, Richard has these fabulous ideas.
I know he does.
And I kind of got to, let's
Rein 'em
pair
in, get 'em in.
rein 'em in.
It's our second year with soup.
It's our second year with
Yeah, I know.
soup. Yep,
Yeah.
we did it last year. And the thought process last year was, I mean, Ray's on the DSIC board. I had been on, and it was just like we should be supporting them.
Absolutely.
But it's a great organization and one that we hold dear. But what better way to market ourselves? We did it as marketing. We were pretty thrilled at the number of people that came through. We were shocked, happy and shocked. And so we will continue to do it again.
You're not doing it in the Armory Lounge, though. You're doing it in the
We're
Officers
doing it in
Club.
the Officers Club, yes.
Okay.
We did it in the Officers Club last year as well, and that was kind of the springboard for our event center down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be 24, actually, more
yeah.
than 24 participating restaurants this year.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see that. I know they're having restaurant week coming up too, but to have that money, and the soups are amazing. They have sweet soups and savory soups and this and that. What's your soup?
Amazing.
Or can you tell?
Let's just say it's potato based and it's French.
French? Oh, it's a bisque? No.
Next question.
Next question.
It's one of Monet's favorites. We'll let that go. So if you had
Oh,
been
it
one
is
of his
one of
guests
Monet's favorites.
in Giverny,
Will he be joining us?
yes, he might. He might.
Well,
He's
we
very
do,
social.
we do have a little stuffed Claude that is in the lounge. He hangs in the
Little
lounge.
Claude up there.
We have a little
We
Claude.
called them Santa Clauds.
Oh, moan, moan,
Bum,
moan.
bum, bum,
And I thought I was bad with puns.
You still are.
I'm still bad with puns. Okay. One of the other things you did, and I think this is the second year you've done it, Bridesmaids?
First year.
First year,
for
okay.
First year. So, trying to build our business at Armory Studios New York. And
You've got such a great venue. Let me just say this. Armory Lounge, I love it.
Thank you.
It is so great. And everything about, when you did the haunted Halloween, and you
Castle
are
of
amazing
Terror,
people. You really are. But go ahead, talk about it.
So I had met an event planner, Picnics and Pops, a young lady by the name of Tanisha. I'd reached out to her because we've got nothing but space, and she does these great little pop-ups for like an anniversary or a small little party, whatnot. So in showing her around, she was like, I've had this idea that I wanted to do. So we started talking about it. So we're calling it Flicks and Forks. We got the copyright to show the movie Bridesmaids. And at different intervals throughout the movie, we will be serving the food that the people on screen are having.
Oh, so I've never seen the movie, so I have no idea what the movie's about.
So we're getting an appetizer, which is crab cakes. It's 2 drinks in there, a spiked lemonade as well as a sparkling champagne. There is a Brazilian-themed dinner, and then carrot cake. For dessert.
Well, that's a cool idea.
You channel your inner Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, I love Rocky Horror.
Do
that. Don't bring any toast. No toast.
Bring any toast. We're also encouraging
newspapers.
our guests to wear their most outrageous, ugliest, favorite bridesmaid dress.
God, didn't we all have them?
We
not
all
you
have
guys, but
well.
Speak for yourselves.
We also are doing some
little drag isn't bad.
Yeah. We've deemed it a Galentine's event, so we're doing it on Saturday, February the 10th, before Valentine's Day. We've got a couple of different vendors coming in. Rogue Fashions, they're local here in Schenectady. They're doing a little fashion show. There'll be some swag giveaways, and it's gonna be a fun time. So, yeah, something different. We strive to do different events. And
well, you have such a beautiful place.
Thank you.
And I know Ray here. I'm telling you, I hear that this guy can actually use a hammer and a sledgehammer, and I heard that you tore down a concrete wall.
Well, Kim had an idea to expand one of our kitchen facilities, and so partner Jeff.
She had the idea.
Well, we call it an idea. She pretty much said we're doing it. So we, partner Jeff and I, took the brick wall down from the Armory. It was, I don't know how deep and everything like that, but I think it was like 12 tons of brick.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid to do it. I enjoy doing it because you can see the fruits of your labor.
Well,
which
not
is
only
really
that, but
nice.
it gets out a lot of aggression out. Or maybe you don't have any.
No, I try not to. So for the soup stroll, we're also a collection site for Schenectady Shares, which you'll hear about later.
We're going to have them on next,
Don't want to be a spoiler on that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's good. I'm glad you said that.
On the Monet front, they just announced the final 25 days.
Oh, okay.
For the event, for the Monet exhibit.
So that'll be through February, pretty much?
You're going to ask me to do math?
Oh, wait. Oh,
it ends up being February 4th. I literally counted it.
What is it?
Right now, February 4th.
February 4th. Oh, you got me.
So get your tickets.
I'm planning a tour there, so I better work hard.
Yes. We just literally hot off the presses.
Okay, good. Well,
they just announced it yesterday. Yeah.
So if you want to see it, you better get your tail down there, right?
Get going.
Yep.
That's right.
And get
because
your
it's an amazing
inspired cocktails, because when the show's over, they're gone.
They're gone. Oh, so Claude's going to be gone too, huh?
Claude, we're going to hang Claude up, yes. He's going to go back home.
I'm not sure what that means.
He's going to go back home.
Yeah, the Van Gogh exhibit went for years or so.
18 months, I think, 17 months.
Yeah, it was an amazing exhibit. And Monet, I believe, is really, and I love the garden, I love the room, I love everything about the Monet. I really
to experience that creativity is just mind-numbing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a fabulous experience.
So if I could pull you back, I'm sorry, to the soup stroll real quick.
Okay, go right ahead.
We're asking folks to make us your last stop. We've got our beautiful Officers Club. It's all decked out in our winter wonderland. It's silver and royal blue and white, and it's absolutely gorgeously dressed. We're going to have a hot cocoa bar as well as some mulled cider in addition to our soup.
Make it your last stop.
Make it your last stop. Hang out. We're, if you don't mind, I'll mention this. We've again partnered with the costumer to do a selfie station.
I love
People
that,
love the selfie station on our stage. So
yeah, and you did that through the Halloween as
Yeah.
well.
The Castle of Terror.
oh
Yeah.
geez,
Castle of Terror.
we thought that was retired until
Yeah,
October.
that was wonderful. So, so if you're always go to their website because they do list their events that are coming up, And I expect we're going to see a lot more coming out of the Armory Studios New York with getting new events coming in. Yeah. I'm hoping they bring in the Titanic, but that's just me.
We'll let them know.
Yeah, tell them I really want to see
Ann says
she wants to see the Titanic. No, not the real boat, but but it's quite an exhibit from what I understand. So
it is.
That would be fun to see next. But anyway, thank you all for being
for
here.
Thank you.
It's always a joy to see you. And this is the most energetic group I think I've ever met, and they are just so much fun.
We try.
So let's have
we
fun.
try. Let's have
fun on that soup stroll.
Enjoy that journey.
The last one, I'm going to be there and try your potato thingy.
Mystery soup.
Mystery
soup.
With a little something on top. I don't know.
There you go.
Good.
It will be fabulous. There will
Yeah,
be one
it will be
waiting for you,
fabulous,
Miss
no
Ann.
matter
Don't
what.
you worry.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
And I'm
you.
going to, now you mentioned Schenectady Shares, so we're going right over to
Excellent.
Schenectady Shares. What do you have? You have a box there.
Good morning. Yes, this is a sample of a shares box, which you can find in locations throughout the county.
Okay. And, you're talking about personal hygiene items too.
Yes.
That's
So
very important.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So Schenectady Shares this is our second year. Last year we were able to collect a little over 20,000 pounds of food and hygiene items, along with over $20,000 in donations. The donations.
Of course, money helps because you can buy a little bit more than probably,
Sure.
Can you get better buys? Is that
So-
What we did with the
Jackie,
money is we put it into the regional food bank
Okay.
for each account of the different pantries.
Okay.
So they could use the extra buying power.
So tell me, why Schenectady Shares? Why? Why?
Why? The why is we identified the issue of the time of year for the pantries, and they're not getting the donations that they might be getting during the summer and fall. We wanted to put together this six-week
yeah.
program to supplement, and we learned a lot about the pantries themselves. We've been able to kind of network with the individual pantries more to try to help them.
Like Sikkim, isn't Sikkim one?
Sikkim is a pantry. They haven't been as involved because they have their own.
They have their own
right.
network. Okay, good.
We're more concentrated.
I'm just trying to put this all
Correct.
together.
We're more concentrated.
Michael's kind of giving us a good idea of what's going on.
We're more concentrated on the smaller pantries. We worked last year. We worked
like
with
St. Luke's.
St. Luke's is the second largest in the county.
Yeah, we worked with the Scotia Glenville Food Pantry. We worked with Immaculate Conception Church, which has a small pantry. We worked with a pantry all the way out in Bremen Corners, which is western Schenectady County.
What corner?
It's called Bremen Corners. It's halfway between Amsterdam and Schoharie. It's Schenectady County.
I never heard
of that. There's a pantry there that serves quite a large group of people out that way. We worked with a pantry called the Lighthouse on Princetown Road. There's Our Lady of Fatima Church in Delancey that we worked with. We worked with several of the local pantries. The Bethesda House has a pantry in Northside at the Northside Village. And
so
we identified all these.
We
identified all these pantries that needed help. We were able to help them initially with bringing them food, but then we were also able to help them by putting money on their accounts at the regional food bank, which gives them the opportunity to leverage their buying power. The food bank at 16 cents a pound, I believe it is, you can buy a lot of food with $500.
Yeah, I mean,
what we did with the money, we put $500 in two different increments, one in April, and then we did it again in July, I believe. And
gives them a boost.
It gives them a boost,
So
correct.
tell me about the St. Clair's. Where did I get St. Clair's? But I guess it's been on my mind. I feel so sorry for the pensioners. I'm sorry. But St. Luke's.
St. Luke's is in Central State Street area.
Yep.
Division.
Right across from McDonald's.
Yes. I won't tell you my stories about McDonald's.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to give you a reference point.
Last year, St. Luke's nearly 19,000 people. We gave 10 meals a day. That's how we do it.
What?
Yeah. There's a lot of poverty. We live in an immigrants neighborhood, and a lot of them, because of language barriers or different.
So they don't get WIC, or they don't get.
Well,
but
if
it's
you're an
only
immigrant
20
and you
days.
haven't become a citizen, you're not eligible for anything.
I wish people would know that, because they always say, "Oh, they come here and then they take all our stuff," and they don't.
They don't take anything. I mean, even the asylum seekers have been coming to us all the way from Rotterdam down to State Street because.
Yeah, but there's so much misinformation about the people. Yeah.
When you have political people going around and telling you things that may or may not be true, you tend to listen because you think they tell the truth about everything.
And they don't. No,
they don't.
I heard, somebody say, "Oh, they get Social Security and they get unemployment." And I go, "No, they don't."
No, they do not. And right now, DSS is having, some trouble with SNAP because the Farm Bill was held up for so long.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons there's high food insecurity in Schenectady County.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe for the average person not involved in seeing the underbelly of what's happening. Yeah. And I think that the two of you, and of course Carmel as well, certainly have kind of looked at this and decided to do something about it.
Well, there's a lot of involvement from city and county officials. I mean, you have Carmel, Doreen DeToro, Mike Aragosa here, Dave Bauk, Camille. There's a lot of people that identified the need, and originally they thought, well, we'll get a truck full of food and bring it to them. No. My operations guy set them straight the very first meeting and said, no, you can't do that. You'll overwhelm them, and then it will be gone.
It'll be gone, yeah.
So we planned it out to run 6 weeks, and then money that came in, we donated a month later, and then a few months after that, so it would give them a steady stream.
I think that's a really smart thing to do, to do it incrementally.
And for us, we've developed some really good partnersps with Concern for the Hungry organizations is working with us.
They do so much for,
we've also developed partnerships.
For Thanksgiving and stuff,
they had leftover food from Thanksgiving, and
so they passed
it on to us, so gave us a big boost for this year.
I worked on Concern for the Hungry. It's amazing how much food comes in.
I'm a member of the board. I was just voted on. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, okay.
Through the Concern for the Hungry, one of my favorite parts of this is this coming Saturday, early in the morning, I'm going to be driving to Scary Valley Farms, also known as the Carrot Barn, to collect a truckload of squash and sweet potatoes for our effort.
It used to be the Westheimer farm used to do a lot of that, donate that.
And there's, we're having communications
I don't think they're there
with different
anymore,
farms,
but I just remember that,
to try to do a better job of bringing in fresh produce and fresh meats.
And the other thing that's important, now maybe not so much for the asylum seekers, but a lot of people just have never learned how to cook. They don't know. You hand them a squash and they don't know what to do with it.
That is true.
I'm not saying, maybe they know what to do with a potato, but you give them a squash or you give them a vegetable they've never seen before, they don't know what to do.
And we also are seeing a high amount of senior citizens coming to us that we've never seen that before.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we try to get foods that are already prepared, at least in our pantry, and we're going to try to leverage that into Schenectady Shares as well, so that they can get something they can just microwave or throw in the oven. It's all ready for them.
We've also identified smaller pantries like the street soldiers and
the street soldiers. They do a lot. I can't believe the donations they get on
Young
Sundays.
Parent United, which is another organization that has young families that sometimes they're living in hotel rooms and they don't have the means to cook. So we go through
don't
on
have
our
a refrigerator, can't do any.
We go through during our collections.
Cold. They might be able to sit on the windowsill.
Yeah, we go through during our collections and separate out foods that are specific to different organizations, and it's.
We
so
talk to the
where are your collection points? Let's talk about that, so that if anyone wants to drop off something.
Here's the chair of that.
Okay. He's
so we have
distribution and collection here.
We have collection points in the county office building, the DSS, the library downtown.
The downtown library. See, that's an easy place to drop it off.
Police and fire department buildings. We have collection points in all of the First National Banks in the county. Saratoga National Bank. Price Chopper Market 32 has collection sites.
But you don't want produce.
No, produce, it's hard for us to get it distributed fast enough.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, non-perishable items for this part of the collection.
Just so that we know.
And the money is leveraged, then they can purchase fresh or frozen meats with the money that goes into their account.
I just wanted to reiterate, so don't buy some bananas and drop them in.
No.
Unless you want to eat them on the you want the guys to eat them that collect the stuff.
Yeah, speaking of the money, if anyone's interested in making a donation, they can make the check out to our Daily Bread Food Pantry with Schenectady Shares in the
Great.
And
where would they send that?
To the
St. Luke's Church,
Okay,
1241
so
State Street.
you're collecting that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to make a donation to Schenectady Shares, you can just send it to St. Luke's for their Daily Bread collection. And also, if you'd like to drop it off, you can go to a fire station or a police station or the library or even the Armory, New York.
The Armory, the Armory, Ray and Kim have been very helpful.
They're very involved in the community.
That's one of the things that we're very fortunate. We have a lot of very well-connected and very concerned people that are involved in helping us.
We need a collection in Proctors. Maybe you'd have
Well, so actually, and that is a spot on Sundays during the green market.
Okay.
They do collect for us.
There you go. See, so we hit everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for being here, and please tell Carmel my regards because I know that she was going to be here.
Yeah.
But thank you both for being here. With this, we're talking with Michael Aragosa and also with Jackie Clute, right? Is that correct?
Michael Aragosa.
Aragosa. Did I say that?
You said Aragosa, but that's okay.
Well, Aragosa, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Very good. Perfect.
Oh, and I'm Italian. It's like I can't even get that
No worries.
right. Oh, I give up. So thank you all
Thank
for being
you.
here. Thank you. Fill this box up. Fill that up.
Thank you.
I should have done that for the show, told somebody to bring something for the box. Oh, well, another time. Okay, and here we are. And again, you've been on before, and we've been talking about Jewish paper cutting, but you also do metal cutting.
Yeah, many of my paper cuts, because we have these great computers these days, can scan a paper cut and turn it into something that will go to a laser cutter or a metal cutter or somebody who uses the same kind of stuff we use on our teeth.
A drill?
No, not a drill. No, the air, the intense air and water.
Oh, yeah. I know.
So that can be done. And there are a couple of them at the Folklore Center who are hanging from the ceiling,
I got to get over there and see.
Yes, you do. And everybody does.
I plan to do that.
Everybody needs to go. So, yes, I do work in metal, though I don't get to do the work.
You do the designing.
I do the designing, yes.
Okay, Mishka, I know that you've been doing this a while, right? What got you started with this? Because in the first place, I was not aware that, I was thinking of Chinese. I don't know why. It was always Chinese paper cut.
You see a lot of that.
I have a friend from Mexico, and she says to me, well, we do that down there, too. So there you go. So tell me how you got involved.
The JCC had a 2-hour workshop.
In Schenectady?
In Schenectady, here in Schenectady, and I went with a number of friends, and I came out of there and I just kept doing it.
So I can do that, right?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I found a medium that made sense to me in some crazy way maybe, but it did. The woman who taught this particular thing, and I'll show this for the moment anyway.
Good, it's called Jewish Paper Cuts. Okay.
Right, and the woman who wrote it, Yedit Shador, who was very well known as a paper cutter in Israel. How she got to Schenectady, I don't know.
But it was fortunate.
Oh, absolutely, for me especially. But oddly enough, this book didn't come out until 3 years after we had our workshop. But I just got turned on to it. It was one of those media that worked for me and still does.
Well, we have photos. Can we bring up some of the photos of some of your work, and maybe you can talk about that.
Okay.
Raymond, maybe I think I've got Okay. No, yeah. Is that the one? No, that's the one for the entire thing. There should be some of her, there's her work right there.
There's a metal
coming
piece.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
Right.
tell us what we're looking at.
It's a metal piece, this one actually steel, with the saying in English, if I am not for me, who am I?
Oh.
If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?
Oh,
Which is
I
a
love
very, very well-known
Yes.
saying of Rabbi Hillel.
Yeah.
And
And that's in metal, right?
yes, that's in metal.
Okay.
That's the outer edge of the cut. The
Okay.
inside is the Hebrew.
Okay,
So in English and in Hebrew, and I often do both.
okay. Yeah, and it helps too. And
Oh,
there
yeah.
should be another double. One of them is that you do cards.
I haven't done one in quite a while, but yes.
They were right
that
next
one
to each
right
other,
there. That was the invitation for my son's bar mitzvah.
That's not that. There should be two other ones.
Okay, well, the point of that is
Yeah.
the folding
That's
of it
okay.
gave me a whole other thing to do.
Okay, all right. Well, I thought I had uploaded those.
Okay.
But anyway, so you did the cards, which I thought was really clever, the way it unfolded and stuff.
Yeah.
So go to our website to check
Yeah, go to my
out.
website and you'll see that with a couple of different ones. But most of what I do is personalized. And that one obviously was for my son, but I've done it for many other people.
So actually, if someone wanted a gift, that you would do a gift for them,
Yes.
basically for, oh, I have an idea, okay.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah.
But most of what those things are for special occasions. So I have wedding ones, I have bar mitzvah ones, I have retirement ones, things like that that people really want to honor, to commemorate some event in somebody's life. I have one of those.
Oh, good.
Here.
Good.
Let's see. No, it's not that one. It's this one.
She's got such great stuff. Okay, let me hold that only because of reflection.
Yes.
I will
the
try
light
and hold it
reflection.
so that the reflection is this good? If I tip it down?
So that is a cut for a wedding. One of the things about Jewish weddings, it's very customary for the bride rather, to walk 7 times around the groom.
Okay.
So that particular cut, even though you can't really see it because it's hard to see it, has 7 circles. And those 7 circles.
That's not Dante's 7 circles.
No,
right?
it's not.
Just checking.
I think
Just checking.
I think it precedes Dante, but that would be really.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah. I could go on in that, but I won't. Yeah. But the other thing with regard to weddings.
We're just rambling, excuse us.
That's okay.
Okay, let
Here's
me show up another one.
And this one is far easier.
And
to
I will
see.
hold it because I think of the reflection. I'm
Right.
pretty good at figuring this out.
That one is much clearer, that there are 7 circles. In this case, this was a commission for Mary and Stu, I think it was. This one is a copy of a copy. But you see 1 circle, another circle, around it still another. So those particular...
I love that tradition.
Well, it is a wonderful tradition.
Yeah.
And it's been updated so that both bride and groom walk together or dance together around and with each other. But another set of symbols in this are the vines. The vines are a symbol of longevity. And of course, you want also a wedding, a marriage to be a long experience. This also has a set of hands. And the hands go into other symbols, which are called hamsas. And I don't have a hamsa with me.
It's okay. I'm going to put this down. I'm putting this down so don't get my nose
Okay, maybe
hairs
there's
or
one there.
anything.
But the hamsa is a 5-fingered design, which really comes in many ways from was started sort of in the Muslim tradition, but it was adopted by Jews. And it's a good luck amulet, but it's also seen for other reasons as this is the way you might do a design that will show you towards Jerusalem, which is where a lot of what are called Mizrahim do, because you want to face Jerusalem when you're praying. So a lot of that comes together in the symbolism. And when I was hearing Ling and talking about the symbolism that all of her pieces have, I was starting to really think about what are these symbols. And first off, there are a lot of animals. Believe it or not, all of them have wings. So the lion has wings, the fish have wings.
It's a way of spiritualizing
Precisely.
it.
Precisely.
We're almost out of time, so quickly I'm just going to tell you that next time we're going to have Chinese Community Center on. We're going to talk about taxes and Journey to Freedom, which is about the civil rights movement.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it's going to be a great show next time. But anyway, I love what you do. And I love the fact that you have the stories behind them, which is very important.
I try. Let me just show here, did I already show this?
Yeah, you did show the book, but that's okay. That's
well,
good.
The point being that this cut is from the 1600s.
Okay.
And you could see from my cuts, they're very different. They're very modern. I want it to be that way. I see it being that way as sort of being respectful of this old tradition.
Right.
And the point being that we brought old traditions from, in my case, mostly from Eastern Europe. We brought these traditions so that they don't die.
Right. We want to keep everything alive.
We want to keep everything alive.
And I do want to mention that Martin Luther King Day is coming up too, and we want to commemorate that too. So how's the time? How are we doing? We're done. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Great.
Well, thank you for asking.
Thank
you for putting this together for me.
Yeah.